When survivors speak,
change happens.
when survivors speak,
Change happens.
what do we want?
Healing.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Healing.
When do we want it?
Now.
Good morning and welcome to our second annual Survivors Speak Arizona. My name is Aswad Thomas. I'm the National Director of Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice. And like many of you, I'm a victim myself. I'm a victim of gun violence. And like many of you, I never received the support and services to help me heal. Like all of you, I'm here to make sure that our voices are heard in every room in that Capitol, in those hallways, and outside with us today. You know, it is an honor to stand in front of so many brave and resilient crime survivors from across the state. And I am blessed to be joined by my fellow CSSJ members, Vanessa Martinez and Charlotte Weber. I would also like to thank Representative Longden and Senator Kerr for being with us here today. So Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice, we are a national network of over 180,000 crime survivors across the country. Here in the state of Arizona, we have nearly 3,000 members. Many of you see here today. Last year, Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice, we released a statewide survey of Arizona crime victims' views on crime and safety. And what we found is that the majority of Arizona crime survivors favored more public safety approaches rooted in rehabilitation, victim services, and prevention. The survey also showed that the majority of victims wanted but not received things like victim compensation or victim assistance to help them heal and recover from violence. That is why we are here today. Everyone may be talking about crime and safety, but the voices of crime victims, especially the voices of crime victims that you see here today, need to be part of that conversation. Everyone may be talking about prevention, but we need to actually address the root causes of crime and where to stop it. So that means bringing trauma recovery centers here to Arizona. You know, trauma recovery centers are a proven approach to getting victims the support that they need to heal. And through the legislation HB 2612, it will provide the necessary funding to pilot a trauma recovery center pilot program so survivors can get the support and help that they need to heal, so that communities can build the infrastructure that they need for victim services, mental health, and community healing. And while we're talking about common sense solutions such as trauma recovery centers, we also must support policies that help create jobs and help keep us safe at the same time. The legislation HB 2429 would give qualified people with non-serious offenses the opportunities to earn occupational licenses, allowing them to get the job and support to help build the local economy and provide for their family. Additionally, HB 2055 would expand incentives for people on probation to encourage them to be employed full-time. Once again, it's creating opportunities for stability for families and communities. These three bills promote accountability, safety, healing, and a stronger workforce. As survivors, what we want is what happened to us to never happen again. We also want it to never happen to anyone else. So that's why we are here today calling for action. Because when survivors speak,
Change happens.
when survivors speak,
Change happens.
and now I'd like to introduce my fellow CSSJ member and survivor, Vanessa Martinez.
Thank you, Oswald. Good morning. I'm so blessed to be here with you all today. I'm Vanessa Martinez. I'm a member of Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice, and I'm also a domestic violence and gun violence survivor. I survived being shot in the head by my ex on September 11, 2021. Like many of you, I understand a person's healing journey is never really over. We learn to adapt and to heal our wounds as much as we can, but that trauma is still there. When we face violence, we find ways to cope so we can go on and live our lives, but that often feels impossible. Unaddressed trauma is the foundation of much of the violence and instability we've seen firsthand. Our people are hurting. They feel lost, and no one should be on this journey alone. Before I joined CSSJ, I never heard of trauma recovery centers or DV compensation. I was amazed to learn that there's a model of care that actually exists and provides free services to victims of violence. Everything from legal assistance to mental health care and navigating victim services such as victims compensation. The fact that there being over 30 sites across the country, but none here in Arizona, is mind-blowing. That's why we're here today, to urge the legislature to pass HB 2612, so we can finally have a pilot trauma recovery center. We've seen the evidence that the care provided by a TRC can decrease PTSD and depression, while helping victims with immediate needs like safe shelter and clothing. Financial assistance or any assistance would have been a blessing and beneficial on so many levels if it had been available for my children and I. These services would bring needed stability, but most importantly, hope. Hope for the survivors who feel they'll never get back on their feet. Hope for the victims who've lost loved ones and are struggling to move on. Hope for the communities looking for strength in the face of despair. And today, we're hopeful that survivors will bring change to Arizona, because when survivors speak,
Change happens.
thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Vanessa. We must listen to survivors like Vanessa. We must listen to the survivors here with us today. We also must listen and encourage our policymakers to help us make change. So next up, I'd like to introduce the Arizona State Director for the Alliance for Safety and Justice, John Bowders.
Thanks, Aswad, and good morning, everybody. Welcome to Arizona's second annual Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice Survivors Speak. My name is John Bowders. I'm the Arizona State Director here for the Alliance for Safety and Justice. And just in this past year, the survivors you see behind us, as well as countless others, have testified in front of the Arizona legislature to help successfully pass legislation that extended emergency orders of protection, helped expand orders of protection for domestic violence survivors, helped increase funding for the Victims Compensation Fund, and helped institute legislation that would create the space for the first ever trauma recovery center here in Arizona. But our work is not done. The stories like Vanessa's that you've heard here today have been very impactful on the legislators in the Capitol and the meetings that we've had, and on the community discussions that we've had across the state. We're asking for the legislature to pass HB 2612, which would fund the first ever pilot for a trauma recovery center here in Illinois, and we know that we're one step closer to realizing that goal. But there's a lot of work to be done. While the road remaining in front of us here is an incomplete one, and one we're going to journey together, we have a couple people that we'd like to make space for today who have been champions for this issue throughout their time in the legislature, and whose voice reflects those of the people who stand behind me today. The first person I'd like to introduce is Representative Jennifer Longden from House District 5 here in the greater Phoenix area. Representative Longden is a survivor of gun violence herself and has been an outspoken victim on behalf of other people who have survived crime and who are looking for better and safer laws for our communities. Representative Longden, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. You know, I'm Representative Jennifer Longden. I do represent Legislative District Number 5, which is Central Phoenix. And I am honored to be here with you for the second ever Survivors Speak here in Arizona. This event is much more than a rally or a political event. This is absolutely a movement. These are folks who wake up every day full of courage, tenacity, and hope. Hope that we can save others from the experiences we've had. 18 years ago, actually 19 years ago, I was paralyzed in an act of random violence. And you know, the medical community staunched my wounds and stabilized my spinal cord injury, and then sent me home to figure the rest of it out. And the rest of it turns out to be the hard part. How to move through this world, how to exist in this world, how to overcome the trauma, how to heal not only myself, but my family and my community from the trauma of the violence that we experience together. And so the call to action here today is very simple. We need a safer Arizona for everyone, everyone. The call early this morning was for our murdered and missing Indigenous people, and violence touches Arizonans everywhere in our state, from every walk of life, or role of life, in my case. So the only way we can achieve true safety is if we commit to meeting the needs of the survivors and addressing the root causes of crime. When trauma is left unaddressed and when policies don't focus on improving outcomes, we miss an opportunity to improve lives and make ourselves safer. Survivors like all of you, you deserve a seat at the policymaking table because you have stories to tell. You have skin in this game. You understand this at its absolute root. And when you wrap your personal stories around policy positions, you are undeniable, you are compelling. Keep telling your stories, tell them until we are heard. You know the struggle. You know what it takes to heal these physical and emotional wounds. You know what it takes, sorry, I don't turn this way very well. You know what it takes to heal our families and our community, and you're doing the work. And we know what a difference it would make to have a little bit of help along the way to ease the struggle. The fact that Arizona can be doing more to help survivors heal and get their lives back on track, we know that can happen because across the country, we've seen how trauma recovery centers can help countless survivors get services for mental health care to help and also help navigate the legal system. This year, the legislature can bring a pilot trauma recovery center right here in Arizona so we can ensure that the cycles of victimization come to an end. HB 2612 would provide the necessary funding to make that happen. And I'm here with all of you to call on my colleagues in the legislature to get that done. There are additional common sense steps that can be taken to reduce the chances that people will make contact with the justice system and that they can have productive lives as citizens here in Arizona. We can agree on one thing: we need more workers. And HB 2429 removes barriers to occupational licenses for those who have sealed or set aside records. And that means steady jobs for those who want them. Less of a chance that they will be caught in a cycle of reoffending, and will create safer communities along the way. And additionally, HB 2055 supports the local economy by offering credits to those on probation for low-level crimes so that they can find and maintain full-time jobs. This is another, go ahead, you can clap for that. This is another proven approach to supporting businesses and expanding the labor market in our state. There are common sense ways to make Arizonans safer. And I have no doubt that we can make it happen because when survivors speak,
Change happens!
Thank you all, and I do see Senator Kerr. Let's give her a hand on her way up here. Hey, Senator. Thank you all.
Can we give it up one more time for Representative Longden? And right on cue, joining us from the Arizona State Senate is Senator Sina Kerr, who we will offer the chance to make her way up here. If you'd like the podium, you can have the podium.
Okay, sure.
Of course, I'll take it for you. Please welcome Senator Kerr.
Good morning, everyone. It is just so wonderful to be here again with you this year. A lot has happened since last year, good things, and we continue to strive to move forward in all the great work that we're doing on your behalf. So I do represent Legislative District 25. It's in Western Maricopa County and Yuma County. And last year, it was such an honor to join you for the first ever Survivors Speak event here in Phoenix. This year, it's once again such a privilege to stand with you all of you brave souls in advocating for safety. In the time since we all came together at the Capitol last year, you made change happen. Yes, you did. Thanks to your advocacy, we have strengthened orders of protection for survivors, giving them more time to protect themselves and their families. And we laid the groundwork to bring a trauma recovery center to Arizona. We have so much work to do to help victims heal from trauma, keep our communities safe, and stop cycles of violence. This year, we can build upon that progress by funding a pilot, TRC, and finally helping survivors get the services they need to heal. There's no way to overstate how much these comprehensive services offered by TRCs will change lives and save lives. The TRC model has been proven to lessen homelessness, depression, and reduce the chances of recidivism. There's no one solution to safety, but we can make a tremendous difference by addressing the root causes of crime and not just going back to the same old policies. Like Representative Longden mentioned, House Bills 2429 and 2055 address two issues head-on: jobs and safety. We all agree that we need more workers to support our local businesses and bolster our economy. We also agree that people with nonviolent records should have the opportunity to give back to their communities so that they can be productive citizens. Reducing barriers to occupational licenses would help fill the more than 200,000 unfilled jobs we face right now. Additionally, offering incentives for people on probation to maintain full-time work will bring in a labor force that is ready to work. There are common sense ways to stop the revolving door in our prisons while lifting up those who are ready to give back. Thanks to your voices and stories, true safety is coming to Arizona. It's awesome. I encourage you to keep up this great work because I'm with you every step of the way. Thank you all so much. God bless. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kerr. And next up, I would like to welcome fellow CSSJ member and crime survivor, Charlotte Weber.
Thank you, Oswald. I am Charlotte Weber, and I am a survivor of crime. I am a proud member of Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice because our voices must be heard. A lot of people in Arizona and around the country claim to speak for us. They advocate for policies and promote approaches that they say will make us stronger. But we've seen over and over again that many of these policies just don't work. We've seen it in our own life experiences and in our communities. As a victim of crime, I've seen firsthand that we can be doing more to end cycles of trauma and crime. We can be doing more to ensure that people have the tools to succeed after they have served their time. It does not make us any safer to set up barriers to stable employment and financial stability for those who are trying to assimilate back into the communities they belong in after prison. On the contrary, it is these barriers that can lead to people going back into a life of crime and behind bars. We can stop the cycle of victimization by providing the tools to those who want them, by holding them accountable along the way. Arizona currently has over 200,000 unfilled jobs. Research has shown that steady employment reduces recidivism, keeping people out of prison and keeping them involved in our local economies. House Bill 2429 is a meaningful and common sense way to help the workforce by allowing people with non-serious offenses to receive occupational licenses, allowing them to earn a living wage for their families and to give back to their communities. We can further bolster the workforce by passing House Bill 2055 and Senate Bill 1161, which expands incentives to encourage those on probation to maintain full-time work. There are over 77,000 Arizonans currently on probation, which means potentially thousands of new workers supporting local businesses here in Arizona. These are all proven ways to support safety and lift up our communities. We urge our elected leaders to stand with us in improving safety and moving Arizonans forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. When survivors speak, change happens. When survivors speak, change happens. And now I would like to transition to a moment to honor ourselves and our loved ones who are no longer here today. So I want to welcome to the podium our CSSJ statewide manager, Selena, and 4 survivors to help us light a candle for all victims of violence. So Selena, Carol, Rachel, Amanda, Charlotte, and Rochelle.
Hi, I'm Selena Meadows. I am the CSSJ Arizona Statewide Manager, and I am grateful to have everyone here today to lend their voices to really help survivors speak, advocate for healing. And today I am lighting a candle for all children and families impacted by violence.
My name is Charlotte Weber, and today I light a candle for all of those who are not yet strong enough to light a candle for themselves and seek help yet.
My name is Rochelle, and today I'm lighting a candle for all those missing and murdered Indigenous women, men, two-spirit people in the world in our Indigenous country.
Hi, my name is Amanda Mitchell, and I'm lighting a candle for all of the sexual assault survivors.
My name is Carol Gaxiola, and I am lighting a candle for all the murdered children and their surviving parents.
My name is Rachel Cardona Barnett, and I'm lighting a candle for all victims with domestic violence.
And I light this candle for all survivors of gun violence. So please join me in a moment of silence. And as we sit here in silence, please feel free to bring the names of your loved ones who are no longer here that you would like to bring into this space.
Jasmine Gaxiola. Sky Gina Ratcliffe Collado.
As we are here today, we honor ourselves, we honor our loved ones, and we are here to bring hope and healing to our communities. When we say the phrase, when survivors speak, change happens, we say it because we need change in our communities across the state. We are here today to advocate for more trauma recovery centers, things that help us heal and stop the cycle of violence. We are here to advocate for those coming out of the justice system to get access to jobs and housing, things that help stop the cycle of violence. We are here today to help our communities heal and recover from the violence that has plagued our communities and our families for decades. We are here to let us know, to let you all know, and to let us know Crime Survivors for Safety and Justice is a community for you. It's a community that's with you. So to my fellow survivors, I see you, I hear you, I love you, and we stand with you. Thank you all so much for joining today's press conference as we work to change policies that make our communities safer and to help us heal.